Welcome back to the Situation Room on PTV World. I am Omar Khalid, and we're discussing the post-Pahalgam false flag operation situation within India, in Pakistan, India's warmongering, India's jingoism, India's falsehoods that are now becoming more and more apparent and are being questioned by not only the people within India but also major media outlets such as the BBC. The BBC has recently taken out, you must have been hearing it, BBC recently took out a report in which it questions not only the lack of security at the venue where this incident took place, but also intelligence failures. It also talks about, it questions why an FIR is registered within a couple of minutes, but the police actually reaches to the site an hour after that FIR is registered. So many loopholes, many questions, and of course that leads to all those falsehoods that India has been perpetrating since the Pahalgam false flag operation and also before the false flag operation, as far as Pakistan is concerned, using the Pakistan card. And that is, I think, one of its favorite strategies, to use the Pakistan card as and whenever and however it wants to. We continue to be joined by Brigadier Rashid Wali Janjua Saab online. We continue to be joined in the studios by our two eminent guests, Faisal Raza Khan, our colleague and senior analyst, as well as Khalid Banuri Saab, who is a security analyst. I'll begin with you, Rashid Wali Janjua Saab. Now, India's war-mongering strategies have been very blatantly revealed through their medias, through their social medias, through the different propagandas that they have been perpetrating since the false flag operation. Now, when you look at that, when you look at how they have been trying to, putting in abeyance of the Indus water treaty, and questioning that and linking that to terrorism and so on and so forth. The fact of the reality, in fact, the reality of the fact is that the truth is far from what that is being perpetrating. I'd like to understand, is the Indian media being given a free hand by the Indian government, or is also the Indian media pushing the Indian forces or the Indian military to go for a free hand as far as Pakistan is concerned? And in such a situation, how important becomes the role of not only our armed forces but also our media?
You see, India has put on the war paint and has started beating the war drums in a frenzied mode with a purpose. They have a method in their madness, and their overarching impulse that has led to this thing is the Indian hubris. They think they are too big to be called out by international community for any breach of international law or morality or interstate relations. Unfortunately, they have resorted to this with clear objectives. And one of the objectives was to walk out of Indus Basin Treaty. They have achieved that. Second was to create a smoke screen and snatch the property of Kashmiris and impose more draconian laws on them and change the demographics. The third was to create a nutcracker two-front situation, keeping our forces busy on the eastern frontier and bleeding us through TTP proxies, BLA, and TTP. Unfortunately, the overarching desire or the hubris emanates from a power consolidation desire of PM Modi, who is driven by Hindutva impulse and is in election mode. After Pahalgam, he thought nothing of going to electoral rally at Bihar and gave a clarion call to eliminate all Muslims, and he won't rest till he achieves those objectives. After 1 year, there's another election. So India is in a perpetual electoral mode, which means that Modi, Hindutva driven, RSS supported government will keep on ratcheting tensions because they rely on communal hatred to gain the votes, and rely on this hatred because they have nothing to show by way of performance, jobs, or control of inflation for the masses. Now, these were the objectives, and once they uh, enlisted the support of their media, which is incidentally all bought up. The last bastion of independence was NDTV. which has also been bought by Modi's corporate acolytes. So there's no such thing as independent media, barring few isolated voices on social media. Uh, Now Modi seems to be in a bind because world has not bought into the narrative of India. There have been voices condemning the terrorism, but no voice has so far condemned Pakistan directly. So they have failed on that score, and Pakistan has rebranded itself very effectively as a responsible country, which is mature and which only reacts in a proportionate mode, and which will not take any aggressive steps unless forced to do so. Uh, Now, this all is the overall scenario in which this tense standoff is panning out, and we need to be very careful because I heard defense analysts like Ajay Soni remarking that now the direct confrontation mode is not going to pay dividends, so we may go for a covert action. So we have to be very alert that they may perpetrate any act of terror through their proxies, and keep the region and areas which are economically vital for Pakistan's economic corridors in a state of instability. Now, having failed in their desires, they are ratcheting up the tensions. They are posturing on the line of control. There have been recce raids. There have been probing attacks, and those have elicited a very effective response by Pakistan. Their Chak Patra post has been eliminated. Now, I have personally served in that area where this crow flight leads directly to Pahalgam, and I can very clearly say that on line of control there are posts which are vulnerable, and there are also posts those which are uh, on commanding heights which threaten Indians. So if Indians resort to any adventurism and go for physical attacks, they would get a bloody nose and they would lose very important posts in quid pro quo mode. That is probably why they haven't resorted to that stratagem so far. Now, regarding aerial attack, I think they have got the memory of Balakot still rankles with them, and they know that our Air Force is very well prepared, very well configured, technologically at par, and that is why they haven't resorted to any such cross border forays, either on line of
All right.
control, working boundary, or international border.
All right,
As far
all
as
right. Thank you
Pakistan
very
is
much,
concerned,
Brigadier Rashid
Pakistan.
Janjua Saab. Thank you very much, sir, to have joined us, to have given us your valuable output. We are, of course, seeing the different parameters of what is happening post the Pahalgam false flag operation and how India's machinations are working or maybe not working. We'll be back after a short break. Welcome back to Situation Room in PTV World, where I, Omar, Khalid, but along with my panel of guests, are trying to unravel the whole plethora of lies that the Indian government has been perpetrating since the Pahalgam false flag operation in order to justify whatever it is trying to do. And of course, as our DGISPR has said, that we are ready, do not test our resolve. This is a statement also that has become quite popular within the Indian social media as well. Nevertheless, don't test our resolve. Let me again reintroduce our panel of guests. Faisal Raza Khan, who's our analyst, joins us in the studios, along with Khalid Banuri Saab, who is a security analyst as well. We will come to you first of all, Faisal. This regards this leaked raw document that has unfolded on Telegram. Now, what are the implications of this leaked raw document that allegedly exposes Indian planning behind the Pahalgam false flag operation?
It's very interesting, really, because before leaked document, even we know that how India actually planned, backed and perpetrated. I just want to refer the telephonic call of the US Secretary of State Marco Rubio with the Indian Foreign Minister Subramaniam Jaishankar, and he reiterated his wordings, and I quote that what he said, that that India wants perpetrators, backers and planners must be brought to justice. And this is what Pakistan wants.
Yes.
This is what Pakistan wants. Exactly. Thank you very much, Mr. Subramaniam Jaishankar. You have rightly pointed out, and we are pointing it out that the planners are the RAW, Research and Analysis Wing, the your National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, and then backers were the Modi regime, the Amit Shah, Mr. Prime Minister himself, the Indian Prime Minister, and the perpetrators are the security forces, because they know. And one of the interesting facts I want to mention here is that soon after this Pahalgam attack, there was Indian government's briefing, Amit Shah's briefing to the opposition, Indian opposition, and in which Indian opposition raised a question that why this Basriyan was opened in April, because most of the times it opens in June, and that is joined by, or it's co-joined with the Amarnath Yatra.
Right.
So why it happened that 2 months before it was got opened? So what was the reason behind actually? So there was no proper answer to that, and Amit Shah said that we are actually investigating why it happened. So, so
You just told them, you know, we have planned it since a long time, and now it is unraveling.
So 2-3 months before they were planning this whole episode and what the false flag operation done, and all other parameters suggest that there was no security forces there. There was no, because you know that there is a high,
imagine when 800,000 plus, you know,
definitely
troops are present there. How is it possible? I fail to
never
understand.
ever, because National Intelligence Agency is there, Research and Analysis Wing, RAW is there, their Intelligence Bureau is there, then CRPF, Rashtriya Rifles and all others, and even this BBC report, what it tells us that there are lots of questions raised as
intelligence failure.
It is complete intelligence failure, security failure, police was not there, because you know that this area some 2 to 3 years back, there was a huge operation launched in the forests of Pahalgam, and those operations, so-called coordinate search and all other operations, which basically actually the staged operations which the Indian Army and the security forces are conducting time and again in Indian illegal occupied Jammu and Kashmir, and that operation lasted for at least half a month. And how is it possible that after sweeping and combing and all other those operations, and then you are saying that this happened in Pahalgam,
and the perpetrators come, do the needful, and just disappear, and they are nowhere to be found.
Definitely, definitely. And what the call actually suggests, what Pakistan actually very loud and clear in that, when we have offered or time and again stressed about that there must have to be a neutral, very independent, impartial probe into this whole episode, what happened over there. It was, and Pakistan condemned right from the first day of this attack on 22nd of April. And there is no question about it that why Pakistan go for that? What's the advantage? Just one question again we raised, that who is the beneficiary of this attack? Just look at it. Even the Indian media must have to work on that, rather blaming Pakistan. They must have to investigate.
They are blaming Pakistan because they have been told what to do. It's all under a planned strategy. Everybody knew how things will move.
But so what a blunder they have made, because in this raw leaked document, it is loud and clear written in that that you have to come up at this story after 36 to 48 hours. And they have started perpetuating, and they are starting labeling and flashing this story after only 30 minutes. So this was overall blunder, because you know that when you are lying and keep on lying from the last many decades, it means, and even the preposterous type of things you are doing, then there are always blunders. And Indian media, and I always believe that Modi, there is no difference between these 3 M's, Modi, media and military. Indian 3 M's are always activated against Pakistan, because Pakistan is only a scapegoat for them to just go out of that, whatever is happening inside India, because the position of Modi regime inside India from the last 1 decade is absolutely disastrous. Because when it comes to the minorities, when it comes to their economy, there are lots of fake fudging and figuring of those economic data and all that is there. But they are portraying outsider world, that is the different perspective, and what is inside is the different perspective. So there are lots of separate movements, separatist movements are going on inside India. Freedom movements are going. They are very much into the crisis which is going on into the Seven Sisters and the Siliguri corridor or the Chicken Neck. They are even the same game they are playing with Bangladesh right now, with the Bangladeshi interim government also, and they are putting pressure on them as well in the same way they are what they are actually doing. So the thing is that what is happening in India, that is the reflection at their media, that is the reflection through the Modi regime, and that is reflecting in their military as well.
All right. Banuri Saab, I'll come to you. Do you feel Pakistan can leverage this raw document titled Psy-Ops and Narrative Control and add all the details that have been found post the Jafar Express incident, and tell the US, tell the other world powers, the EU, China, Russia, what India has been perpetrating? Also, will it be could it be leveraged as a diplomatic success for Pakistan, looking at the number of proofs that Pakistan is finding against India post the Pahalgam false flag operation, that points a finger at India behind this false flag operation?
I think sure he can. This is an information that has come out. There will be independent attempts to confirm the details by other countries as well. And when we provide them what we know, they will be able to find out that this is precise and this is how it has happened. Also, that one of the gaps that the Indian government left was the media will always be in a frenzy to be the first one to report it, and hence this time gap that was expected didn't happen. But if you look at the document, which gives so much of vivid detail of how do you conduct this, tells you several things, tells you about a country that actually doesn't care about their own people and is willing to expend them like a hunting game. Also that they will take any steps whatsoever to try to malign Pakistan in this context, so as to the classically beat the 56-inch chest and continue with this kind of position. So two steps. I think a lot of this needs to be talked about in the diplomatic circles in more clear detail, precise detail and provision of the document, so that the independent sources can actually confirm the details and find out for themselves that this exists, and this is precisely the method that has become a recurring theme now. So
all right.
that's
all
the
right.
position.
We've also been joined online by Air Marshal retired Asim Suleiman. Thank you very much, sir, to have joined us. We'll begin with some questions regarding the Pakistan Air Force because of your decades of experience within that category. How does the Pakistan's Air Force track record of professionalism, operational excellence contribute to national deterrence against Indian aggression, now in putting into perspective the Pahalgam false flag operation?
Assalamu alaikum, and thank you very much for having me on your program. Traditionally, Pakistan Air Force has had three basic tenets to support its role for the defense of Pakistan, and especially against India. First is that the leadership that we have. We have inherited a very rich legacy of having very, very able commanders, and that continues till date. Then comes the training. Training has been our hallmark, and we know that as we are less in numbers, so we have to be very well trained, and we are able to deliver whenever the time comes. And last of all, we always try and keep this thing in mind, that we are outnumbered by a ratio of 1:3. That means that we have to fight outnumbered. And for that, we have to have an excellent training and integrate the technologies with our training so that we are able to produce the result that is expected out of us. So this is the basic legacy that we have, and this is the way we are trained and brought up to measure up to the task which is entrusted on us.
Asim Suleiman sahab, how critical is the current readiness of the Pakistan Air Force? We know that the JF-17 Block 3 are completely ready to thwart any aggression. We know about all the different defense capabilities that our Pakistan Air Force is now equipped with properly, the modern fleet. Under this current environment of heightened military threat from India, how do you see Pakistan's preparedness? A, how effective is going to be Pakistan's response in case of any untoward incident from the Indian side?
Actually, the last encounter that we had in 2019, a lot of progress has been made in Pakistan, especially in Pakistan Air Force. And the basic things that have to be kept in mind are that the warfare has totally changed, and then the technologies have advanced, and then when you train yourself with the latest technologies and the change in warfare, that is very, very important. And then the leadership that you have, like the present chief that we have, Air Chief Marshal Babar, he has given a lot of impetus to the Air Force by inducting new technologies and bringing the Air Force to a different level. And nowadays, Pakistan Air Force is put into the category of the next generation Air Force because of the technologies that we've inducted. Now, from technologies point of view, I will start off with the first shoot capability. So, first shoot capability is that when you attack your enemy before they can attack you and you are shooting the missiles at them. So after 2019, in fact, at that time also we had the first shoot capability. But after that, when the Indians inducted Rafales, that is the time the Indians got the first shoot capability and we lost it for some time. Then we inducted J10, and then on J10 we had PL-15 missiles. This has more range than the meteors on the Rafale aircraft. That means that we were able to snatch back the capability of shooting before the Indians could do that. In addition to this, the JF-17 that we manufacture in Pakistan, the JF-17 was also modified to carry PL-15. So this increased the number of aircraft in Pakistan Air Force inventory who were able to have the first shoot capability. So we have two aircraft which have first shoot capability over the Indians, and plus we have F-16 also, which have the first shoot capability on most of the Indian Air Force air fleet. So that is where the Pakistan Air Force today stands, that we challenge the Indians in the air and we'll be able to shoot them down. Then the other main air defense asset which the Indians boast of is S-400. It's a missile system which is supported by very strong radars, and they claim that it is able to deter the forces who are going to attack the Indians. But when we look at the capability with the Pakistani side, we also have similar systems, and when there are two or three another system, when they are integrated with the main system, we are able to produce the same kind of a deterrence against the Indians. So in the air defense regime also, we have made a lot of progress. As I said, that the present chief had put on a lot of emphasis on the development of the Air Force and the aviation industry. Due to that, we have been able to progress very rapidly in the field of UAVs. Today we have loitering munitions, we have killer drones, we have drones which have the capability of mail and hail, which you can employ against the enemy, and have very positive results that you are looking for. In addition to that, we have inducted a lot of other equipment, which is a force multiplier, and they boost the main effort of your air defense, your weapons, and your aircraft. So a lot of water has passed under the bridge as far as the Air Force is concerned and its technology is concerned. And we have made a lot of progress in that. And because of this new technological changes, we needed to train our Air Force also. So a training program was devised that fulfills the requirements that are required for meeting the leading edge technologies and employing them against the enemy. So this is another main thing which has happened in the recent past, that Pakistan Air Force has been able to train itself and come up to the mark with its new technologies and new systems. So there is a lot of change in the Air Force which has taken place in the last 4 or 5 years, and we have really progressed very well. And today we challenge the Indian Air Force. And if you look at what happened recently, that the Indian tried to intrude, somewhere close to our territory and the borders, and they were unable to do that because they were deterred by a very rapid response by our J-10s. And then as a result of that, as we hear on the media, that their commander, who was looking after the operations of the Rafales, has been removed, and he has been replaced by another Air Marshal. So the progress or the readiness of the Air Force can be seen in the right perspective. And we can see that a lot of progress and a lot of zeal, which is amongst the air crew and the ground crew of the Air Force, are there to produce and to deliver in case the Indians try to do a misadventure. And this readiness actually leaves India with no option to utilize their air medium. In case they try to do that, there is a lot of tough resistance which is going to come. And I am sure that Air Force will be able to produce similar results as they showed in 2019. Maybe much more, because today we are very well prepared. And unofficially, a lot of analysts in India say that Pakistan Air Force has been able to checkmate the Indian Air Force. And it is just because that we have inducted new technologies, modernization, first shoot capability, very good defensive system, and meeting all the requirements that are required for a modern Air Force to give a very befitting reply.
All right, Air Marshal, retired Army Suleiman Sahab, thank you so very much to have joined us to give an extensive overview of Pakistan Air Force preparedness under the current circumstances, and of course the message that is clear, that has been sent to India and the Indian Air Force as far as any misadventures that they could or eventually take. I think the response is going to be swift, the response is going to be strong, and the response is going to be much more prominent than what we saw in 2019. Thank you very much, sir. And thank you very much to have joined us Khalid Banuri Saab, security analyst. Thank you very much to have joined us Faisal Raza Khan, our colleague and senior analyst. Ladies and gentlemen, as you have been seeing, just right now you saw the Tilla field firing range, and how the Chief of the Army Staff, General Asim Munir, also visited it. We've seen the resolve of our armed forces, whether it be the Army, the Navy, or the Air Force, and the people of Pakistan. We are all on one page. India needs to understand that before it takes any step that could not only destabilize the region, but more importantly, India itself. Allah Hafiz.